that puts the listener in a position of wanting to be a part of the experience. Therefore, we notice the case of the demoniac from Decapolis. This individual was a winsome witness. Notice that he wanted to be with Christ. And then when Christ said to him, and according to Mark chapter 5 and verse 20, and Jesus said to him to go home to thy friends and tell them how great things the Lord hath done for thee and hath compassion on thee. Notice what he did. And he departed and began to publish in Decapolis how great things Jesus had done for him. And notice now, and all men did marvel. So he said it, and he said it with an enthusiastic joy and happiness and pleasure because of what God had done for him. So also in the case of the two Marys, Peter and John and Paul, they were all winsome witnesses. Their personal testimonies had power because they were about their encounter with God's amazing grace. Their witnessing was not about them, but was about what God had done for them. The lesson says that there is unusual power in a personal testimony. And that's why it's winsome, because it gives you joy and happiness to tell about what God has done for you. The memory text is taken from Acts chapter 4 and verse 20. And we know the story there with Peter and John, where they were taken prisoners by the council and the Sadducees. And then it gets to the point in Acts chapter 4, after you read the entire chapter, then it got down to verse 20 where it says, for we cannot but speak the things which we have seen and heard. In other words, the council, the Sadducees and the high priests and so on, they wanted to keep them quiet. But they said, we cannot be quiet. You see, Peter and John could not keep silent because of what they had seen and heard. The big question this morning is, what have they seen and heard? And we might not have enough time to go through all of these, but I just want to say this morning that they witnessed miracles. They experienced Pentecost. They experienced the growth of the church. They experienced Christ's death and resurrection. They experienced his ascension, the infilling of the Holy Spirit. They witnessed the transformation of their lives and those of others. They also experienced the coming to pass of Christ's words. He said he would rise on the third day, and it happened. Also, the realization that he is the Christ, the Son of the living God. If you remember that Christ had said to Peter, who do you say that I am? And Peter said, thou art the Christ. Therefore, Peter and John could not be silent because of what they had seen and heard. And as I conclude this morning, my introduction, Acts chapter 4 and verse 13, when they saw the boldness of Peter and John and perceived that they were unlearned and ignorant men, they marveled, and they took knowledge of them that they had been with Jesus. And that's the way it is. That's how the testimony goes. Because when you have been with Christ and you see what Christ has done for you and what Christ has done in the lives of others, you are a winsome witness, because you are not